Hey guys, this is Kenny from the Level With You channel. Just here to let you guys know if you guys want to come chat with us, we got a Discord server up and running. Link is in the description below. You could give us some feedback, ask us questions, just interact with us, or in general. You can also find us on social media platforms. Instagram, we're LVL With You. Twitter, we're Level With You. And on Facebook, you do the search Level With You. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Stay level.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Level With You show. My name is Wiley Olmstead, and this week I am joined by Anthony Duart.
Hey.
Kenny Castro.
What's up?
And Tyler Hadley.
Howdy doodly.
Each and every week we get together around this table and talk to you about, you guessed it, video games. This is a video game podcast. You can find it on Podcast Addict, as well as Google, Stitcher, iTunes. Anywhere that you don't find it and you want to hear it, let us know. Videos go up every Wednesday, and we talk about video game news, what we've been playing, other fun stuff. We've got other videos up on the channel, a fun Let's Play of Man of Medan, as well as a whole slew of card opening videos from Anthony Duart over here. Please check those out when you have the time. But yeah, so first off, we like to catch up a little bit on how each and every one of us is doing. So I'm going to surprise Tyler. How you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see, this past week, what have I been doing? I went to the store, and I turned in all my loose change that I've been gathering for the past 5 years.
Wow.
And I turned it into $220.
With your hands?
And I got it all in an Amazon gift card because I know I'm going to be shopping there. Okay. And otherwise, they would have taken $30 away from me if I wanted cash.
Yeah, I will be honest, there have been many a times where I've been... just had the feeling, I don't want to actually pay for this. And I used to get a lot of tips from my old job where there'd be change. So I would let that build up and get maybe $20, $30, and then take it in. And I'd get the cash because I didn't want to get Amazon. I wanted to get a bottle of vodka or something. But anyway.
That good shit with the change.
Yeah. All right. Now, Kenny Castro, let me know how your week's going.
It's been going good. I'm just busy. I did some deep cleaning in the house. I got rid of a lot of crap that we were like, why do we have it?
Yeah.
Like, why is this here? So I think we put together like 8 bags of just nonsense that we were like, let's get rid of it.
Nice.
So that felt good.
They do winter cleaning in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, no, not spring cleaning, winter cleaning.
Hell yeah.
But I was like, fuck it, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of a ton of shit. Because, Christmas, we overdo it. We buy a bunch of stuff for the kids and for each other. So might as well unload shit now and then,
Smart.
Just an excuse to buy more shit.
Make space. We're going to get shit in the winter for the Christmas time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I actually, so as I may have mentioned on the show, my roommates are moving out soon. So we've been sharing this pretty big house where we certainly at least need one more roommate to make up for what the rent is. But we were showing a couple the other day, and, we've still got all the stuff there, especially and as well as from the couple that's currently living there. And I was just showing them room to room. I was like, man, there's a bunch of shit in here. Like, there's just a lot of crap that needs to go. And luckily, mostly it's theirs, and they're going to take care of it, you would hope, when they move out.
Is all that stuff in the second side of the basement that's not on, like, the pool side table? Is that theirs?
That's mostly theirs, yes. So there's a whole slew of hockey stuff. There's, like, an extra couch. There's a bunch of beer brewing materials. Upstairs, there's like 7 suitcases in one room. Don't ask me how.
Could you keep the couch, or do they need that extra couch?
One of the couches is actually mine, so I can't put all the blame on them. The other one, I think, is like an antique that is special to one of them or something.
I can see that. Okay.
So you said you did show another couple the place?
I did, yes. And
so
no further comment.
Oh, come on.
No, I really...
Anonymity.
Yeah.
Do they listen to the show?
No.
Well, come on.
Let's hope not, okay?
and if they do, hi, how's it going? No, I probably slept where you walked.
It didn't seem like a simpatico thing. That's all I'll say.
They were probably mean, and
they didn't like it, or you didn't like them.
Tyler.
He was all smelly. He walked in and was just like, oh, man,
this is
deodorant.
the juicy stuff people want to hear about.
It was Elena's mainly had the strong reaction of absolutely not. So,
so they were Olimar mains in Smash.
Maybe that was what it was.
I can see that.
I was like, tell me what was your problem? And she was probably just, I don't want to say
like,
it, but they were Olimar mains.
3 stocks, Wiley. 3 stocks. Those lag time on those moves.
But, we did have some fun on Friday night.
Yep.
Had a little bit of smash, MK11, dive kick, the usual
The
Wiley's
usual.
house routine.
Usual fight. I watched you play some Death Stranding. That was crazy. It's very atmospheric,
Yep.
very
So
balancy.
definitely going to get into some good impressions of the new Death Stranding. But other than that, unfortunately, I'm actually feeling pretty not great. I hope I don't give it to any of you guys, but last night I was like, I don't know what it was. Well, I think I might have a fever. I'm not stuffed up or anything, but I'm very achy. I'm getting random pains like in different parts of my body, especially on my head, which is a little worrisome.
That sounds like a fever. It's a telltale sign of getting like sick. I got Advil. Do you want some Advil?
I'll take some after the show. For
Okay.
Sure. And this morning, what do you call those things in your eyes when you wake up and you got to rub them out?
Sleepies? I just call them sleepies.
You call them sleepies?
Eye boogers.
Eye boogers? Okay.
Crusties.
Crusties. See, everybody's got a different word. I call them sleepy seeds.
Ooh, see, look at that. It's very all unique.
This morning, I had more sleepy seeds than I thought were possible on a person. And it took me a good minute and a half in the shower to get them all out. So
Dang.
that's gross.
Well, at least you took a shower. Some people are just like, what the fuck?
Wow.
It's like trying to use your wiper blades on a dry windshield.
And my sheets were completely soaked from sweat. I was thinking I was going to call out, but I was a trooper. I was like, I called out last week.
I'm going to get you these now.
Should have known better to call out when I was only feeling so-so, not so great. And now that I'm actually sick, I'm not calling in. But
Somebody told me a story one time. It might have been Caitlin that told me the story that they knew somebody who woke up when they were younger and they had so many crusties on their eyes that they just couldn't open their eyes.
Oh my
That's
God.
scary. That's very scary,
That
actually.
is scary.
I don't want that to ever happen. I mean, that happens actually sometimes. I'll be like, or like, you know, when you're like halfway asleep, just trying to like get up, or you're like, I really have to pee, but I really don't want to get out of bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know that thing, you're like, can I just lay here for another half hour with it not bothering me enough?
Just like, shit.
Yeah.
You can't really move, and then you ever have those dreams where you're like, oh yeah, I got up to pee, and you didn't get up to pee, but you stop yourself right before you start peeing in the bed. It's like, oh no, I wasn't peeing in that heater. There's no heater in my room.
Yeah, I had that cranked up. Last night I was just in bed with like 4 layers on, watching some Neon Genesis Evangelion because I was too sick to play Death Stranding, which I got a few hours in. And maybe now's a good time to segue into what we've been playing. All right, so we're going to be talking about Death Stranding for a decent amount. So why don't we start off with a couple of littler things. You may know if you've watched the show before that we're all big Smash fans. In fact, we're in the midst of organizing something down in the future, which you may be able to come play with us and compete for prizes and eat some maybe pizza, maybe cookies. Not making any commitments yet.
Or a cookie pizza if we're feeling.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If we're feeling ambitious.
But anyway, the new character, Terry Bogard, ghost dropped. Is that the way you say it?
Shadow dropped.
Shadow dropped. That's better.
I got that term from the text because I was just like, "Ooh, that's a good term. I like that. Shadow dropped. Or box dropped, not box dropped.
So Sakurai did one of his infamous character background videos. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was like 40 minutes of him talking about the history of the character, why it was important for him. And I heard some people saying that like this was the character that Sakurai really wanted to get in, even though he's relatively obscure compared to most of the list. He's got some pretty intricate fighting game like inputs, like ones where you actually have to do kind of a quarter circle or even a double quarter circle to implement the
Kind of like Ryu, but a little bit more like once you hit a certain, like I think it's once you hit 100%, you get that little go symbol above like Terry's icon now.
Right.
And you can do, depending on where you're facing, it's a quarter circle, like attack, and then opposite for the other way.
So I only got to play the maybe hour or so that we played together, and I don't think I successfully pulled off one of those.
No, you got it
moves.
a couple times. 'Cause
Oh, did I?
You did it like, I think once or twice you were able to do it because it's only different. It shows like a little, he does a normal, like one of his regular side Bs, and then if you pull it off, it's like that, but a little bit bigger, and the flame in the middle is like a different color.
So does it tell you like what the combos are? Or do you have to like
Nope.
look them up?
It doesn't.
No, because I sent the ones online.
Oh right,
'Cause I
yeah,
had
you
to
did
look it
send
up.
them to my phone. Yeah.
There's no gauge or anything either. It just kind of goes off. Like once you hit 100%, the thing just over Terry's head says "Go," and I was like, "What is this?"
That's weird.
So that's the only time you can use the combos is when they're in, when it's in go.
And then you can use like
When
the
you're over
super
100,
ones.
yeah.
Whereas like Ryu and Ken, you could, if you put in the same inputs, I think for their like Hadoken or the Hatsumaki Senpuku, you could they do the more damage at any point. But Terry's is only when he's at
Yeah,
100.
I haven't played him yet, but I was watching some videos earlier today of other people playing him, and it does seem like he has some like really intricate combos that you can do a lot of damage really fast.
Mm-hmm.
He's very agile.
Yeah, I see, and they were saying too that he's one of the heavier characters in the game too. I mean,
as
not
far
in
as like
the way he
dropping
hits.
faster.
he actually, like, his drop speed is actually pretty slow, but like in terms of like him getting knocked off the map, how far you travel, like that, he's heavier.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I can't remember his full move list or anything, but I like characters that have sort of diagonal moves.
Yeah.
You know, that,
Yeah, and it seemed like he has one, right? When he has a move that diagonal down.
yeah, exactly.
He says like Koro Wave or Radical. I don't know which one it is, but it's like Koro Dive. And he was like Radical when he does a side B. I don't know what he says, but it's
Dive kicker.
Dive Kicker.
Oh, dad kick.
I can't wait
Classic.
for his amiibo. That's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Show me amiibos.
Any other Terry impressions, or are we moving on?
I haven't tried them.
Word.
It's pretty good. His stage is cool. I like you can't run off the stage. You have to be smashed through the sides, and it breaks like glass. It's a cool little effect.
That is neat.
That was like kind of like Snake stage.
They have Snake stage?
Yeah, there's a snake stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is?
Solid Snake. His stage, he's got, it's Shadow Moses.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah, you can't run off. You have to be blown out. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Damn.
Similar thing, but it makes more sense with Terry since he's from a fighting game. And then what is it? It's Fatal Fury?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And then he's also in King of Fighters. It's like the same
Okay.
kind of like.
Right, same lineage.
Spin-off,
And I remember, I heard that Sakurai was listing off all the games in the eShop that are currently available, like all these SNK games. I highly recommend King of Fighters 98, and 95 is also very good. And
Well, that's awesome.
yeah,
I hope that he actually. I mean, he's the guy making the game, making all this possible. So I really hope Terry was a big guy. Sakurai wanted to at least put in for himself. I got a little bit of self-love there.
yeah, totally.
Rather than like, put Goku in Smash, Sakurai, please.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He does. Just put him in.
And Tyler, did you want to touch upon what the leaks were? Or actually, I was the one that sent you those leaks. Do you think there's any validity to those?
I mean, okay, so the leaks that you sent me was that the final fighter was going to be
Doom guy.
Doom guy.
Yeah, Doom guy. I mean, maybe. I could definitely see it happening. Am I excited about it happening? Not really.
Not really.
I don't care too much about Doom. I mean,
Go on.
yeah, but then you came back and said like, oh, what about the Skyrim and the skins? But those are just me skins, right?
Yeah, that's the mean skins.
Are they me skins?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was for the character itself.
No, they dropped the me skins for every fighter.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'm pretty sure you could hop in, and I forgot what me skins they dropped with Terry.
Terry, they did. Oh, did they do Mize? Because that's what Twitter I think was a big. They were in big like buffs over because Mize the really busty risque character, and they're like, Sakurai, why did you put her in?
Yeah, so they dropped they dropped me skins for
It was
every
like
character.
Irigormi, I think.
But
the guy with the hair.
so you'll get some for free, and then some you have to pay like 25 cents or 50 cents for.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So with the
Micro,
first pack
micro ones.
when Joker dropped, I think there was a bunch that were like for 50 cents.
Yep, yeah, Persona
Yeah.
3, Persona 4 protagonists.
You had to buy those separately.
But also with Doom Guy, I don't think there's been any characters, and correct me if I'm wrong, that have been mainly projectile based, which you would kind of, or is Banjo?
Banjo's got the shooty eggs.
Yeah,
but,
true.
I mean,
I
he's
mean-
not like focused on that though.
No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely characters that are more zoning based. I mean, Solid Snake, he's very projectile.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Focused.
Joker, you can shoot your guns.
True that.
What did you say, Samus?
Yeah.
Yeah, Samus too.
You can zone with Samus quite a lot.
You can do your really like 0.1% with Fox or Falco. Or
I haven't played Doom enough to really know like what options for melee.
you probably just switch out a bunch of different like staple weapons, right? Like BFG, bazooka, shotgun.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's also a cool mechanic in the 2016 Doom where once you get an enemy down to a certain amount of health, a white thing will appear above their head, and you can do a finisher on them. And maybe they would try to implement that. They're pretty gruesome for Super
Ooh.
Smash Brothers, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make them like paint or something.
But anyway, that's all speculation, and we don't know for sure. But those are our thoughts on the possible Doom Guy being included in Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. All right. Any other games you guys want to talk about before we move on into Death Stranding?
I checked out. You
I haven't been playing anything. It's a little bit of Call of Duty. That's about it.
I installed a new GamePass game. Just wanted to check it out because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, was
Oh,
that
yeah.
the card game you
The
posted?
adventure card game.
It looked interesting.
It's pretty much like a Hearthstone, but with like story narrative behind it.
Really?
So every like single, you have a whole full blown single player behind it, but it plays out almost just like Hearthstone. So you drop them, you get some that have guard. So when they activate that ability for guard, the enemy can only attack them.
Okay. So it's like your taunt in Hearthstone, where they have to. They're your shield, basically.
Exactly. So plays out a little bit like that. I tried playing it the first time. I didn't realize that I didn't do the full tutorial. So when I went to do the first mission in the storyline, I got wrecked. And I was like, okay, maybe I didn't do the full tutorial. And then I went to find out and I did it. So I was completely lost. There was so much mechanics to it that it was like, wow. Like, and it's kind of weird. Like, you can only play one action per turn.
Huh.
Until then the enemy, so by playing a card or attacking with a card or guarding or using an ability, that's an action. Each one of those is an action, and then it's not your turn anymore. So you got to plan out every action like meticulously.
Yeah.
Because then you're leaving yourself open to whatever the enemy's gonna do next.
Is it PvE and PvP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so it has both elements. I thought that was interesting, so I started playing the single player campaign, and it's even somewhat weird with their achievements. The achievements I've gotten 5, and each one of them is 14 gamer score each.
Weird.
So it's weird numbers.
That.
So it's almost like it looks weird on my gamer score. Like I'm like right now my gamer score is ending with a number 7.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in forever.
That's really weird.
It's always sort of weird when.
But it's interesting because it even gave me in one mission like a choice between going further or doubling back where I came from, and I was like, I went further, so I was like, I didn't know what I would have encountered if I would have doubled back.
And is there any actual walking around, or is it all narrative based?
It's all narrative based. Yep.
Click to go this way.
And it's pretty much it'll read off. It's almost like if I'm playing the movies in a way, like we were trying to save Bilbo from the spiders.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a D&D campaign then.
Hobbit?
Kind of like.
So it's got Hobbit stuff in
So
it,
I guess it starts off with Hobbit stuff first.
Or is there Bilbo?
Bilbo is
there's
from the
lots
Hobbits.
of spiders.
Yeah.
So Bilbo is from the Hobbit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, well, he's the old man in the beginning of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
trilogy,
but Lord of the Rings doesn't really start off with him being like taken by the giant spiders and stuff like that. So I'm guessing it starts at least some point way before the first Lord of the Rings.
Gotcha.
Somewhere in the Hobbit.
Right between when Raditz comes to Earth and then Vegeta and Nab are on the way.
Yeah, between the Cybermen.
Yep.
Getting killed.
And then Goku's got to come back from Snake Way. Yeah. I remember that when Bilbo was there.
But that's when Piccolo raised Gohan.
Yeah, because then he raised Gohan and took his ass kicked by Cybermen, and then Goku came back to save him. So it'd be like, oh, he's a character growth.
That's when Piccolo became the pseudo dad.
Yep. Piccolo became the dad. And Gohan got that cool sword, and then Piccolo died to save Gohan, and then they got Bilbo back from the spiders.
Yeah, I remember that. Cool. That's what happened.
And they got what was that thing called? It was like the sword that lights up with goblins in here. What is that called? Needler? No.
No, not Needler.
Thorn, something like that.
You're talking about Mjolnir that Thor has with the thunder.
Different, but yeah, it's like the sword that the Bilbo gets that lights up when there's goblins or something near.
Ooh.
What is it? Oh my god!
Honestly,
I can picture it. I can picture the scene where he is
it's
giving
like something stabby, needly, pokey.
I know Elena would be knowing if she was watching.
I'm so disappointed in
she'll
myself.
comment in the comments. Cindy was the name.
Yes, because she's an avid watcher, never misses an episode.
Sting.
Oh no way! It's not called Sting.
Mm-hmm. It's called Sting.
Okay.
Fact check.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I should have just done this to begin with.
So what I was looking up on my phone is what the name of this game was, and I guess it's just the Lord of the Rings
Adventure
card game,
Birthday.
the adventure card game.
Yep, that is exactly the name.
Sting. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
That's
You had to
amazing.
do something with like Jack.
And-
maybe we're thinking about a different sword. Is this the one that turns blue?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I guess I never knew the name.
So that's that game. It's just like I added to the GamePass, and it's originally right now going for $25, which I don't see myself. I would have paid $25 to play this game, but it's free.
It's beauty of Game Pass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you do anything with xCloud yet either?
I haven't. I was gonna download it. The only reason I haven't because I don't think my controller is actually Bluetooth enabled.
Does it have to be?
Yeah, it's because I have to use an Xbox controller. So I know the newer ones that they've dropped, all the controllers they dropped recently are Bluetooth enabled. Like you could connect it to the computer via Bluetooth and stuff like that. But my controller, I've had it for a long time now.
Gotcha.
So I definitely think I need to pick up a newer one. I haven't tried it. I could be wrong, and I could just be assuming that just because I've had it for 3.5 years now, that controller, that it's not Bluetooth enabled, but it could be. But I did download the thing. I just haven't tried to pair the controller.
Gotcha.
But I know I could play Gears 5 on it.
Huh.
that's one of the options.
So
So what is it? You're able to play like, just Xbox games on your computer?
Yeah, honestly, no, I could play my games on my phone. I could have,
yeah.
if I would have paired it, I could have been sitting here on my phone like this, just playing Gears 5.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah.
Google Stadia came out already. Whoa.
So
no, so this is the Project X Cloud, which Kenny got a beta invite to, being the gigantic influencer that he is.
not even. I feel like I'm just lucky.
Yeah.
Between that and I just get invited to EA surveys all the time, and
That's cool.
and get like free games because of that. Even though last time I was supposed to do a survey 7 days straight, missed one, and I didn't get my two game codes because I missed one.
Oh.
And you want to know when I missed it?
When?
The night we were playing Fortnite all night.
Oh,
And I told myself, in my head, I was like, I gotta do that survey. And I'm like, we're playing Fortnite. I'll do it afterwards. Fortnite, a couple of matches of Fortnite later, you guys get off, and I'm like, I'm fucking tired. I'm going to bed, and I had to do it before 6 a.m.
Oh,
And that's 2 free games that they decide? Or?
No, I picked. So I had picked FIFA, the last FIFA that came out, and a
Jedi
way
Fallen Order?
and a way out.
Oh.
Because I've really been. That's a game I want to really play.
Yeah, it's been on my to-do list for a while.
Yeah. So, yep.
Cool. Lord of the Rings trading card game, now up on Game Pass. If you got that, check it out.
did you guys play any more Party with the devil guy?
No.
I have not got back to After Party, no.
Yeah.
No,
Death
not
Stranding
yet.
sidelined me in a big way.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I started playing Death Stranding. Also, while also playing and getting better at Call of Duty.
There you go.
I gotta hop on. I just don't want to, well, I don't really.
You don't want to rage. That's what it is. Just be honest.
Maybe it is partially that. Maybe I'm just in my zone making deliveries out in the rain.
That could be it also because
We were
that
having
has.
some fun the other night in Call of Duty in a private match
Oh.
with like 7 people doing knives and throwing knives only.
That sounds awesome. And you can say puns the whole time, like knife to meet you.
No, you should have seen it. There was so before we started the knife match, there was just a regular match where we were just whatever gun sets, and there was a couple times there was one fucking house, like one little building where I knew Tyler was in every single time. But there was like Tyler just had the shotgun, and I come at full speed. Tyler can attest to this. I have no other speed setting except for sprinting at full speed. So I'm just coming up the stairs. I'm like, fuck! I knew he was gonna be there.
Do you use
All
a
you
riot
see-
shield?
No riot shield. I just coming at full speed. So all I saw was Tyler's name for a brief second while he blasted me, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. I'm coming right back. But when we started with the knives one, we did the last one with in the dark night, in like the night setting.
Yeah.
And then I thought we all agreed. I must have not heard when somebody said, no, go ahead, put your night vision back on. So then I played almost the whole match. No night vision on. So it was like all I would see a faint body running at me and then the name real quick and like trying to throw knives at
And
them.
everybody
stop
else
them.
was using night
Everybody,
vision?
and I'm like, I'm getting killed. I'm like, really? You got night vision on? And then I think Tyler was, we agreed to throw it back on. And I'm like, I'm like, fuck. I must have not gotten that.
Sounds like
fucking
you were
memo.
playing the right way.
I thought that was the way to go. Like no night vision, so you can't see. You only see like faint like hints of the body. Like it ups
It'd
the
be
ante.
way more fun. Too, especially if
Exactly.
you're playing with all just friends. If it's a private room, just be like, oh, I got you.
Exactly. Like there was one that speedball map. That one with more than 4 people is hectic. And I think somebody was like, "Why is Kenny just spawning and throwing grenades?" That was me. I spawned a grenade to the left and just.
It's bound to hit somebody.
That's it. Bound to hit somebody. I think somebody was like, "Fuck you, Kenny," because they must have seen the kill cam and saw me just spawn, toss a frag, and then run right.
Did you die in the same frame too?
No, not even. I tossed it, and like there would be moments where I toss a grenade, look right, and there'd be one person, then another person spawns, and then another person. It was like, okay, I got a 60 clip. I'm like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and then I'm like, shit, I'm dying now.
Damn,
Yeah.
that does sound pretty fun.
Good times in private matches. That's old school.
Oh, we went real old school with that one.
That sounds awesome.
Hot
So
dog. That's crazy.
now we're moving on to.
I played River City Girls. Forgot to bring
How
that
is
up
that?
last week.
I
It's
saw it on.
sweet.
I saw on the Switch on the marketplace on the Switch, and
It's
I was
awesome.
like, what is this?
It's pretty cool.
What is it?
It's like kind of a sequel-esque. The whole legacy, I'm not versed with it. It's like called part of the Kunio-ku legacy is what it's called. So the River City, that game for the NES that came out, River City Ransom.
Yeah.
It's like there's been a bunch of offshoot games. There's one for like the Game Boy Advance and a bunch more in Japan. But we have River City Girls, which is really cool. It's voiced a bunch of YouTubers I know have like put their hand in it. Done some music for it.
What's the
voice
genre?
characters. It's a beat 'em up. So side-scrolling beat 'em up where you have a couple RPG aspects. It's like, did you play the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game?
I did not.
It's like that. It's exactly like that. So it's like a 2D sprite-based beat 'em up. You go around town. The map's pretty big, and it's like almost Metroidvania-esque where you have to go back to certain parts, go over certain obstacles. The way you 100% complete it is every time you go into a store, you spend the money you get from the enemies you beat on different items, and every time you use an item, at least for the first time, it ups one of your stats along with giving you health back. So
Okay.
you have to like basically buy one of each item and use it to unlock pretty much 100% the game because it tells you like right on your save file how much percentage you've done. It's really fun. The music's great. The sprite work is gorgeous.
What's the price?
That's a really good question. I think it might only be $25 in the eShop. Eric got it. My roommate, he went to Limited Run Games, which is really cool. So when they were doing it, they had a limited physical run.
Oh,
So he
nice.
got a physical card of it, which was like 40, I think. But I think it's only 25, 30, depending. I'll have to double check that. But it's great. It's great for friends. It's only 2-player, but it's fun. Fun 2-player
River
beat 'em up.
City Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's good.
cool. I'll have to play that sometime with you.
It sounds good. I like the way you're just like, play me.
I had to pay
No, I
for
know.
my-
Don't worry. I'm just giving you shit.
It gave him pain. It was like, I have to deliver boxes. I don't think I could play.
I don't even know if I can play tonight. We'll see. But anyway,
You need your rest, young man.
I do. But let's talk about Death Stranding, the new Hideo Kojima game that has been launched to universal mixed reviews. Mostly positive, some very negative, some, I guess, in the middle, but definitely all over the spectrum. More so than any AAA game in recent memory that I can think of. I'm about 12 hours in. I'm in Chapter 3, which I've heard is the longest chapter, and sort of when it starts to open up and become more of like what the rest of the game is. Tyler and Kenny have also played. They are a few hours in, so I'm going to give the setup of sort of what it is before we move along, which you probably already know, so I'll keep it brief.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think
yeah.
people know what Death Stranding is by now.
Yeah.
So
With
Yeah.
all of it.
very brief, and then just go into your thoughts.
Yeah. So the game, you play as what's called a porter, aka a delivery man, in a post-apocalyptic setting, which is supposed to be the United States of America, which is now called the United Cities of America. Everybody lives underground due to an event called the Death Stranding, which caused everybody to get evaporated into black goop and float up in the sky, and it's real trippy and
They blow up and make craters.
yeah, blow up and make craters if you die and don't get burned quick enough.
Some people are we got the dooms.
Yeah, the doom.
Those names, I have to say, are probably the funny. I know they're probably not all supposed to be funny, but what's the president's name? It's like Doom. Oh no, Die Hardman.
Well, that's not the president, but yes, there are some hilarious names.
Die Hard Man. You got Dead Man.
Dead Man, Die Hard Men are introduced in like the first hour.
Yep.
It's
And
like-
BBs.
And BB, who is
The
your
BTs.
and BTs. Yeah, the names are silly for sure. And your main character, who's played by Norman Reedus of The Walking Dead fame, his name is Sam Porter Bridges. He is tasked with reconnecting America, which is meaning bringing it all back onto the chiral network. And you do this by walking from one side of the country to the other. No, it's not that big, but it's pretty darn big. And as you stop along the way, you run into some other characters. There's some combat. But the majority of the game is traversal, and with you traversing with crazy amounts of suitcases on your back. And it seems like that wouldn't be fun, but that's honestly been my favorite part so far. I really actually enjoy, and maybe this will start to wane after more than 12 or 15 hours, or just a little bit farther than what I am now, but I'm enjoying just seeing a mountain, finding the best way to get up it. Maybe I want to put a ladder here. Maybe I want to take the safe path and just go all the way around. Maybe I want to, take a risk and fall a few feet and risk everything going to shit and my inventory getting damaged. I think it does a really impressive job with momentum, and it's something that I can't recall seeing in a third-person action game like this that's so intricate. Is like, if you're running down a hill, you will keep on running when you keep your hand off the joystick if you have that momentum built up. And you have to account for that depending on how much is on your back. And I've been enjoying the simple ritual of that more than I thought I would. What about you guys? Was that connecting with you, or is it boring?
I just definitely think I still need to get more into the game. I mean, I like the traversal aspect of it, as long as I have the tools. I mean, I feel like I picked up a bunch of packages and then delivered them and didn't realize that I had like used all my tools, so I didn't fabricate anymore. So then when I was going back to the next location, I was like, oh, now I have to go all the long way around because I can't make it up this mountain or down the mountain or I'll lose everything.
So you ran out of ladders and stuff?
Yeah, ladders and ropes. And
so maybe because I didn't use much over like in the beginning, but I'm at a point now where I'm just all set with ladders and climbing things. I'll have 3 or 4 each with me on each journey. I won't always use them all. They take up 5 kilograms in your inventory, and you start out with, I want to say 120.
Yeah,
120 inventory, and then soon you guys will get an item that will greatly increase that, which allows a little bit more flexibility. And grenades also take that much.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, even like at 120, the amount of stuff you can stack on your on Sam for 120, it looks crazy. It looks like it's so much. So I can only imagine if you're increasing that, how much more you can actually stack on there.
So I'm at the point where I'm on missions and I have to duck every time I go inside because you'll literally smack it off your top, which is cool.
My favorite part is soothing the baby.
Soothing the baby.
I was like, why is it crying? And I was like, I could soothe it. I'm like with the controller. I'm like looking around, like, is anybody looking? Yeah, rocking my controller, like,
what are you doing?
And like I see the bar going up, and I'm like, it's going up. I'll just sit here and wait until the bar's fully up, and the baby's like, all happy again. I'm like, you're not crying. Like, let's go back.
My favorite part's been taking selfies in the mirror.
That's been pretty fun too.
I caught him with a selfie like this, checking the beard. I'm like,
yeah. There's some cool, just little interaction stuff that you expect from a Kojima game, with just a little nice extra touch.
Heavy Monster sponsorship, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, and I didn't hear the full episode, but I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily earlier today, and one of the timestamps was Monster Stock surge after release of Death Stranding.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, so that's pretty great.
I'll definitely say, because I get anxiety from certain things, and I will say when it was like, oh, you're surrounded by BTs. I'm like, all right, so I'm like, oh, hold the breath, and then I felt like holding my breath for too long, and then I'm like, the BTs see me. Then like they were grabbing at me and they would like shake them off. I'm like, what am I doing so wrong? And then stop crouching, stop holding my breath. Once I shook them off, I just started running at full speed, and I didn't look where I was running. I was just running.
Yeah.
And then I'm like up the mountain and I'm looking down. I'm like, that's pretty steep. How am I gonna get down? And then it felt like now I had to plan how I was gonna get down with no equipment. Because then I look around and I'm like, the nearest ladder and rope is like 300 meters away. I'm like,
That's what happened to you on Saturday. You ran away from one of those big goopy things. You ran right up the mountain.
Yeah. So let's talk about the enemy encounters a little bit. There's 2 main types that you see on a regular basis. The first are the BTs, which are these sort of otherworldly ghost creatures that you have to play very stealthily in order to avoid. A sort of somewhat of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Set piece / real world thing will occur if you get seen by one, which I actually think is really impressive, the way that they make the environment naturally form into a sort of cutscene of you being dragged 30 feet away, like no matter where you are, and the entire landscape is covered in this black goop, and it's very hectic. You kind of feel like you're being dragged in the mud because of how slow your movement is, and I would not say it's very fun, because essentially you're just trying to escape. Eventually you do have to actually fight and kill one. I will say that boss fight was some cool spectacle, some cool before and after cutscene, but the actual fight, which is at the end of, I won't say, but it's essentially you running around and throwing grenades, and it takes maybe 10 grenades to finally wipe it out. It's very simplistic. It's not particularly challenging. It is a little intense, but you don't too much feel like there's a risk of dying because it's pretty lenient with that. So I'm a little mixed on the BT thing. I think I still don't fully understand how to avoid them. Do you?
No.
Because you have the thing on your back that spins around. And
it kind of gives you the direction where the BT is.
Yes.
Like where it's pointing. And then you're supposed to
gotta hold your breath.
Crouch and hold your breath and move as slow as possible.
And just move away from the BT.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's difficult. pretty much whenever I see a BT, I'm like, oh shit, I'm just gonna keep on running and hope for the best.
Do the BTs not see that flashy thing that like lets you know where they are?
It doesn't seem like it.
Oh, so they just like let you know, and you just have to like whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mostly, I guess, react to sound.
Even though that thing
Even though
makes sounds.
Yeah.
Not everything has to make perfect sense. Yes, which is especially true for this game. And then the other encounters are kind of a humorous enemy, the mules, which are delivery people that have gone mad because of their inability to no longer be given routine deliveries. They think of the delivery as sort of a ritual that they are addicted to. This was all sort of Die Hard Man. Is he the main person that talks to you? The kind of Morpheus type guy.
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
That's Die.
Yeah. He's like, he gave me that little bit of backstory, so I may have mixed it up a little bit, but that's the general gist of it. So they're trying to steal your cargo and beat you up. It's sort of just an excuse to throw in.
They want to deliver it.
Yes, exactly.
Employee of the month over here.
So
They
it's a
try
little
real hard.
ridiculous, and it feels like a little unnecessary to me, and the combat with them is like, especially coming from Kojima, who had some really excellent hand-to-hand combat in the later Metal Gear games, as well as the excellent, gun mechanics in those games. I'm a little disappointed with pretty much all it seems to be is square, 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 knock them out, square, 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 take some damage, but don't actually die. Maybe this is different on hard. I'm playing on normal, but it's been really kind of too easy and just not an annoying distraction, but a disappointing one from the overall gameplay loop. The story, I think, is, I guess, I'm into it. Some of the performances are a little off, I would say, from both of the women characters in the game so far. They've been leaving a little to be desired, and I think that is more in the writing than in the performances. And I'm talking about Fragile as well as the lady in the red dress. Maybe you haven't seen her yet.
Well, I did, but I don't think they introduced her as the lady in the red dress. Isn't that
No,
Amelie?
Yes, Amelie. Thank
Amelie,
you. Thank you. So you've played way less than me. You already remember the names better. They're okay. They're a little like too dreamy and I don't know.
Well, at least the way I felt when I first met Amelie, she should feel like a dream, like, because isn't her body stuck on the beach?
It is.
Like
Yeah.
the weirdness to it. Like I feel like
I
that's
felt when I was watching him play that. It's just like, it's not
like,
real.
That's that's all it's meant for. I feel like it's almost like in his psyche, more than anything.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Sam, who is, I already said this, played by Norman Reedus, is actually more likable than I thought he would be as a protagonist. He's a little bit of a yes man, but he's not the gruff and, sure he's gruff, but he's not the like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll get it done. Like, he has a heart, it seems like, and he is openly forming a bond with his BB, which is a little baby that you carry around. He takes fun selfies in the mirror.
You can pee in a toilet, and that toilet has ads on it, which is great.
Yeah,
He's an all-around cool guy.
Yeah, he's an all-around guy.
He has an amiibo shelf. What more else did you want?
Oh, exactly.
Well, Army Men figures.
Right.
And he points out, like, he'll look at you like,
Yeah, I love that when he's just
check
like,
it out.
check, look at this. That's what I do to everybody who comes into my house.
like,
So.
oh,
Yes, we know.
Welcome.
It's true.
Anthony looks at them. Welcome. You know what? Right here.
That's it. Look at 'em. And it's only growing.
So overall, where I'm standing at now is I'm happy with it. I was totally skeptical. I think I said it on the show a few weeks ago. I think it's going to end up in the 70s on Metacritic. It's going to get a lukewarm reaction. There's been a lot of rave reviews out there, and one of our first stories is actually related to that. A lot of Kojima in the news, in a bit of a Martin Scorsese fashion. You guys been hearing all about the Marvel, is it cinema, is it not cinema stuff?
Yeah.
So this reminded me of that.
I have no idea.
No.
What is that?
Martin Scorsese said that superhero movies is like the death of cinema, in a way.
Well, did he actually...
He pretty much said that we need more other kinds of movies, actual cinema movies, because
that take risks and aren't as formulaic. And,
because all we see and all we get is the theater full of all these superhero movies that aren't cinema.
It is hard to make it big in the box office these days unless you're rebooting a horror movie from the 80s or making the
another Spider-Man
21st movie in the Marvel
or
Cinematic Universe.
grabbing a comic book and being like, based on a comic book.
Yeah. So I see his point, and that's pretty much what I've got to say about what I've been playing, and we can move on to the news unless anybody has any objections.
No.
I'm good.
Nope.
All right, take it away, Tyler. Cruisin' for a News in the part of the show where we read back the stuff we wrote down on the page because we thought it was interesting and important for you to know about and what's happening in the video game world of news. All right, so since we were talking about Death Stranding, even though you could argue out whether this is actually news or not, there has been some controversy. It's been popping up in the Twitters and the Facebooks and the or maybe not Instagrams, but it was about a interview that Hideo Kojima, the director, writer, producer, everything on Death Stranding. So this is the quote that he gave to a Italian publication, TGCom24. This is striding right as his quote. I must say that the game received rave reviews, especially in Europe and Japan. Here in the United States, however, we have had stronger criticisms. Perhaps it is a difficult game to understand for a certain type of critic and audience. Americans are great fans of first-person shooters, and Death Stranding isn't one. It flies higher, Kojima said in the interview. Kojima then expanded on his statement. I always try to create new things, and disputes and discussions are fine, but it must be said that the Italians or the French have a very different artistic sensibility that allows them to appreciate this kind of very original project, not only in video games, but also in cinema.
It's taking a big dump all over American taste.
I mean, what do we think about this? Do we think he's being a pompous asshole, or do you think he has a point?
I think he has a point.
Yeah, I think he's. I hate the lump personally because it's like I do like my first persons, but I'm not a huge fan for it. I was also born, bred, raised on the JRPG, so I can see where the overlumping comes from though. For the,
I honestly agree with him in a lot of ways because I'm in a lot of video game groups on Facebook, and you see just the hate. And then, when you ask them, why do you hate it? It's it's fucking boring. Is that all you have, really, for hating the game? Because you can't sit through the story and you can't enjoy what he created, the atmosphere he created. Mm-hmm. Because I told Tyler, when I first popped the game in and that first 15, 20 minutes that you were just walking around and just the vibe it gave off, it was almost like it brought you in. Don't be so serious. The mute, I was like, wow, he just created a full atmosphere in that first 15 minutes, which set up the game. Mm-hmm. If you weren't brought reeled in after those 15 minutes, it almost feels weird. Why? Why
continue playing if you don't?
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he maybe was a little bit
harsh.
Yeah, well, I would say dismissive, and I think if you could re-say it, and there is something to be noted that this is a Japanese man being translated into Italian that's being translated into English. So something was probably lost there. And I don't think he's necessarily trying to put Americans down. He's just saying that that's their preference, and, well, he's putting them down a little bit, sure. But it's true. I mean, going back to what I was saying about Martin Scorsese and cinema, I mean, you look at, not that I watch very many French and Italian films, but what I have seen is, they are a little bit more going for that cinematic flair and that, and not to say that Americans don't do this too, but just as a whole, you can look back on the whole body of work and maybe you can see his point. So
I kind of equate it to the culture around, say Spanish culture or Italian culture, where it's it's acceptable and it's kind of guaranteed, and lack of a better word, to have a little bit of alcohol with every meal, or have a glass of wine. Whereas say that same thing to an American, they're just gonna be fucking shit faced 24/7. Wait, you mean it's okay to drink with every meal? Sorry, I gotta go buy at least a 35 rack now.
So you're saying that French and Italian people can appreciate the subtlety of having a beverage with dinner, and Americans are going to get shit-faced and want their first-person shooters shoot 'em ups?
Certain ones, yes.
They're going to pick up their 30-pack of Natty Ice.
Yeah.
I can see that.
They're Natty Daddies and play Call of Duty and camp in a corner.
They're Mad Dog 2020s.
Swap between Mountain Dews and Natty Lights.
They're holding a steel reserve in their hand and sniping.
You look at the Aussies over here cracking their Fosters all right, let's get some Death Stranding. Oh, all right, I got my Outback gift card. I fucking love Kojima. Whoa.
So the author of the article, and I found this on GameRant.com, he kind of follows up the quote saying, "It's reasonable to assume that some fans may take offense to Kojima's statement as it appears to dismiss criticisms levied at Death Stranding, while also implying that some Americans don't like it because they don't understand it. Some may also take issue with Kojima's claim that Death Stranding is a very original product, as while it does have some unique ideas, it is still essentially yet another open world game. I think that's BS. Like, come on. I mean, like, sure, I get that if you're offended because you didn't like the game, but it is not just another open world game. Just because you walk from point A to point B and doesn't have, like, not every mechanic can be new. But I see the shade he's throwing.
Mm-hmm. He definitely felt targeted.
Yeah, exactly. He felt triggered. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to our next story. There's some big changes happening over at leadership at Sony, the makers of the PlayStation. Okay, so Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced the promotion of Guerrilla Games co-founder Herman Hulst to head of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. Hulst will manage and lead game development across the 14 studios that form Worldwide Studios. Herman is one of the most effective and well-respected leaders in the video game industry, said Sony Interactive president and CEO in a press release. He is a passionate advocate for the teams he leads and understands how to empower creative talent to build great experiences. Worldwide Studios is a critical part of the future success of the company, and we must deliver on the promise we have made to gamers to create imaginative and exciting content that is truly unique to PlayStation. I have no doubt Herman can lead our teams to develop or to deliver compelling and diverse experiences at a steady cadence. Okay. And then Shuhei Yoshida, who is the former person in this role, who's been with the company forever. He was sort of a big part of their initial rollout of the PS4. I think right when PS4 was coming out, there was a lot more faces on stages sort of representing it. And now that Sony's so successful, we get to see Sean Layden for a few minutes, and then we see some artistic guy with a flute playing for 3 minutes before we see some footage of Ghost of Tsushima. So it feels a little bit less personal these days. But anyway, Shuhei Yoshida will leave his current position as president of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios to become head of a newly formed initiative that will focus on nurturing external independent developers. Yoshida will reportedly report directly to Jim Ryan while ensuring external developers have the tools, technology, and services they need to reach PlayStation's community of users. So, Herman Hulst, he seems cool. I saw his picture. He's worked on Horizon. He's been with Guerrilla for a long time, also makers of Killzone. On paper for Shuhei, it seems like a bit of a demotion, but I don't think it's that. I think he is...
He's probably ready to just take a step down.
Yeah, exactly. Or even just focus on something he's more passionate about.
I hope so, yeah. That's usually if he's, letting somebody else take the helm, gives him some more time to either take time off or focus on another project he's got going on, which will be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of change around Sony lately. A lot of people retiring that have been there a long time. Sean Layden recently left, who was representing Sony at the Game Awards last December, along with Reggie, and who's also gone, and Phil Spencer for Xbox. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out, who introduces the new console. Still have Mark Cerny, who's kind of the PS4 architect and the tech genius there. But will Herman Hulst be the new Phil Spencer? I don't know. We shall see. But anyway, moving on to our next story, we've got the launch lineup for Google Stadia, which is coming out in 1 week. Mark your calendars. I know you all got it pre-ordered. Nah, you probably don't. All right, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Destiny 2, The Collection, Guilt.
With a Y.
With a Y. Just Dance 2020, Kine with a K. Mortal Kombat 11, also with a K. Red Dead Redemption 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Definitive Edition, Thumper, and Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. So 3 out of the 12 launch games are Tomb Raider games that you, if you have not played by now, you're probably not going to rush out and buy a new console for. So they are literally all ports, some very good games, admittedly, except for maybe Guilt and Kine. I was going to look up. Those are the only 2 I hadn't heard of. Maybe they're exclusive games. I could be wrong about that.
How do you do Just Dance on Stadia?
You gotta buy a Kinect.
It might be a phone, because I know that sometimes. So I Just Dance on the Xbox, you download the phone app and it'll give you a code, and it'll sync the phone. So you'll hold the phone as your controller, and it'll sense the movements that you're being asked to do.
Maybe so. Maybe there's some built-in motion stuff to the controller. I don't know.
We're Just Dance family
Yeah,
at the
that's the only
house.
thing
So.
Are you? I've never played the games.
Oh, my son loves it. My stepdaughter, she likes it. She tends to like it for the first 2 months every time we get it. And she's like,
that's solid.
Yeah. Exactly. My son will play it for hours.
Resembles the
What
Wiimote.
system do
so
you
I
get
can
them
see
on?
that.
So I was getting on the Xbox, but the last one I picked up was on the Switch.
Okay, because I know they're still making them on the original Wii.
Yeah, that
is-
blows
this,
my mind.
Yeah.
This one is going to be the last one on the original Wii.
The last one, is it going to
Just
sunset the
Dance.
system?
Just Dance 2020. Last one.
Farewell edition.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of an era.
Most likely they'll give it like the gold edition, so it has access to all the songs.
Anyway, that's cool. It's a series that I know does well for Ubisoft, and I guess it's got a big fan base out there because they keep pumping them out every year. But other than that, I mean, I just think that this thing is going to be DOA, and that's my personal opinion.
There's just nothing on there that
There's nothing that is going to make you go out and try something new unless the tech gets out there and it blows away everybody's expectations, which signs are pointing to doubtful in my 8-ball of predictions. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, it kind of seems right now like it's just something to
watch.
kind of the same thing as like an Apple games or whatever, the Apple Arcade that they launched. It's kind of
Like a starting off point.
yeah, pretty much like
Yeah. I don't think.
But
even
Apple
if
Arcade launched with 100 games and was $5 a month to access everything. This game, you're still buying games a la carte with this, which is like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
yeah.
No, I definitely see where you're going from, but I honestly think this really because it's not an actual like console that you have to buy. So I truly believe the profit margin on this for Google, like they're not, if only 20 people buy it, it's not gonna hurt them, and they'll be able to just write it out. You know what I mean?
okay, well, it won't hurt them.
It won't hurt 'em.
It won't help them.
It won't help them, but they could write it out until they get some exclusives on there and they start beefing up the catalog.
That is true. This is, to be fair, the early adopters.
Yep.
I don't know if I don't think it's going to be on store shelves yet. I think you had to pre-order this back several months ago, and I'm willing to be proven wrong. Be happy to be proven wrong. If in 3 years I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to cook it up on Stadia, beauty of the Stadia, I will put my foot in my mouth. You heard it here.
I'm gonna put a pin in it. I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah.
Definitely want to watch it.
So moving on. Next story. I found this on Kotaku.com, and it's not news. It's more of a personal, interesting thing. There's somebody right now that's trying to stream 570 hours in 1 month on Twitch. He's 26. His name is Andrew Bodine, aka Giant Waffle. He's living on 3.5 hours of sleep a night and streaming games on Twitch 19 hours a day. I've had to adjust the rest of my off-screen life to a minimum. No shit.
Oh no! Wow.
Bodine told Kotaku over email, I trained about 3 months to get my circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm, I think.
Circadian, thanks. Rhythm adjusted to the new schedule. Currently he has streamed for 192 hours and has 20 days left. So I guess he's...
Why would you? Oh my god.
I just find this to be a little sad.
Yeah, that's like the guy that tried to speedrun. I've been in speedrunning kick when I'm working on drawings and stuff. There's a guy who tried to speedrun, it was like Digimon World 3 or 2, and you can't speedrun that game. That's a grind-heavy RPG, and he got like 300, I think like 200 or 300 like hours. I don't even know if it was like that much, but he got like in the 100-hour mark straight, and was just like he had to shut his microphone off and everything after like the 100-hour mark or whatever because he just like couldn't talk. But he was like,
played 100 more hours after not being able to talk?
and he typed out in like the Word notepad or whatever and put it on stream. Was like, I have to stop right now. I am about to be rushed to the hospital because like I can't see, and like his vision was like going away.
What?
Something else, like he couldn't feel his arm. I was like, why
have to
would you
look this
do
up.
that?
I don't know, man. I don't see the appeal. I think it degrades the reputation of video games. I don't, whatever, dude. If it makes you happy, I'm not going to judge you too hard.
if you want to be a big time Twitch streamer.
Yeah, is this
gotta
what it
get those
takes?
hours
Because
in.
if so, then
He's
I'm
getting
out.
noticed.
I'm out. So
Yeah.
he is. So next quote, or next part of the article. Why would someone do this? Marathon streaming means more hours spent online, and more hours spent online means more viewer opportunities across different time zones. Bodine says that putting his body at risk like this is 100% worth it in my eyes. Viewership goes through the roof for the entirety of the month. Currently, I'm averaging 4 to 10 times my normal statistics, such as viewer hours, unique visitors, and subscribers. It's true. According to Twitch tracker stats, Bodine has averaged about 2,500 viewers in July. Now that number has spiked to 6,000.
Ooh.
Up 3,500.
I mean, I get that. Totally get how it works. I mean, that's how it's always been. The more time you spend streaming, the more popular you're going to be. The more people are going to see you. The more people are going to tune in and be like, "Oh, you've been streaming for 8 hours. You must be serious about it."
Yeah.
You must be going hard.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't sully like the substance over, like style over substance kind of thing, because it's like this is just literally like, yeah, dude, we're gonna go to an all unique buffet for like $1. It's like, oh, sick, you get there, but it's all just like McDoubles. There's nothing else. Whereas like you watch Ninja or somebody else, like, and they got, if you like watching like their banter, you like the personality. This guy just feels like he's just puking up everything just to get those.
I mean, we should
hours.
watch before we.
Oh, of course. I'm not. I mean, I don't do shit with my life either. It's okay. You're actually making money doing nothing. Congrats.
And I don't know, is he or is he not? I don't know.
I
Probably some.
hope-
Probably some.
Yeah, I think at that subscriber mark, because remember I just sent out in the group text, to make affiliate now it's just 50 subscribers. That's not.
We probably still have that on the channel.
No,
we
you
haven't
guys,
used.
the level with you is at 63.
Oh.
But then after that, you have to have. You
Crazy
gotta,
people haven't unfollowed us.
We're coming back.
Bringing it back up.
So I literally went on. I'm
Watch
like,
for
let me.
hentai.
I'm like 50. I'm like, let me go check what's the level with you at. I'm like 63. I'm
50
like,
and a certain amount.
And,
of
like, certain
concurrent,
amount of, like, just
500 hours of a month or something.
not even that
Oh,
much.
oh yeah.
I'm just gonna start
It's
streaming.
the
on
hours
that
is
then.
less, and
Oh yeah.
you just have
500
to.
hours a month. That's the world record. Never
Yeah,
mind.
so you just have to have like average of at least more than 2 viewers per stream.
Oh okay.
You know,
Well, that's pretty fucking easy.
and affiliate
Well,
isn't
not that easy.
affiliate
Not that
isn't partner, so you're not getting tons of shitload of money, but you can still get subscribers. And
I
you know,
mean-
at the like 10, 25, like they have the 3 subscriber tiers, like
Yeah.
5, 10, and 25, I think it is, and then the free Twitch Prime subscriber also, which is I think $3.
I mean, back when we were streaming, I had an entire plan all mapped out, but we never really executed it.
You mean
The
when we
schedule,
had,
the
like,
schedule's there.
It's still in our calendar, like Monday night. Wiley plays this.
Tuesday
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Tuesday nights is do art
Yeah.
with Anthony.
Yeah,
That was a-
dude, that happens.
That was a sick idea. Like,
I'm down. I like
Tuesday
that.
nights was do art with
But
Anthony,
we record
and I
on
think
Tuesday nights,
Wednesday or Thursday was Kelly streaming. It says, and Sundays was days off.
Is she still streaming?
Yeah, she's probably still streaming out there.
I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe she does.
Not that I know
She's
of.
where those 60 subscribers came from.
Um,
Hey, Kelly, it's been a while. You ever going to call me back? It's okay if you won't. Still single.
But,
I don't think she is.
Shit! Well, good for you. Congratulations.
yeah, I say we get back to it.
And
pretty
listen,
soon.
I was
Yeah,
just
pretty
I was
soon.
checking it out. I'm like, shit, like these guys had the about them pretty professional looking. Like,
Looking.
I was like
Keyword.
scrolling right through it. I'm like, it looks real professional, real nice.
Yeah.
I'll make the investment. I'll hook everyone up with a custom built PC.
Do it.
Ooh.
You tell me what's the price tag, and we'll start working at it. I'll start buying one part per.
Like 1,100.
But you got to tell me the parts. Like you got to be like, these are the
No,
parts
you just
you got
gotta
to
build
buy.
it for me and set it up.
Yeah. Put on my
Yeah.
tab.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll draw you all the porn you want.
I'm gonna buy it all, right? And I'm gonna just drop it off one day. I'm like, put it together, please.
I'll do that. It's easy.
You come back with a box full of lumber and some scraps. I build you a Jimmy Neutron rocket. I built it for you. That doesn't look like a computer. No, but it's pretty cool.
PC case with Popeye's chicken and Wendy's.
Oh my god.
So,
Fuck, I'm lonely.
y'all heard of Ninja, right?
Nah.
Oh.
Okay, so Ninja, I thought this was sort of an interesting thing that they inserted in the article, which isn't directly related, but even Tyler Ninja Blevins, who is considered the most successful streamer, has expressed how scared he is of taking time off. In the hour he spent in a New York Times interview in 2018, Blevins estimated he'd lost 200 or 300 subscribers.
Are those potential subscribers or like his already?
Oh,
I mean,
that doesn't say. He said, the longest vacation I've ever taken was my honeymoon, and that was like 6 days, and that was devastating. It was a calculated risk.
okay, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's okay. That
Yeah.
if you have to say that. That's I mean, I know it's your line of work. I get it. So I'm saying people probably big business or whatever. You're running a company. I get it. But I mean, does a lot more than I do. I don't do that stuff. I have no clue the the stuff and his skill, his people talking, whatever that goes into it. But that's ridiculous. That you can't.
Ridiculous of him or just ridiculous of the streaming community?
Streaming community that you can't feel like you can take a honeymoon and not be like, oh my god, I'm worrying about streaming my potential subscribers.
Yeah, it's both. I mean,
And
it's
it could also have to do with just like the contract that you enter into and
True.
becoming like an affiliate of something. Like if you need to maintain those concurrent hours or viewers per day or something like
Keep your
that.
quota.
Then,
maybe. I don't know. You know, Microsoft, they're good guy Microsoft these days, and he's with Mixer now. I doubt they're putting on super strict guidelines. I mean, he's probably like, okay, you're streaming every day, 9 to 6 or whatever. But I think he does even more than that.
Yeah.
And,
Shroud just came over to Mixer.
Shroud
also.
did, yes.
It's looking like people are jumping ship slowly.
The big boys.
But they just got Eric Andre to do their commercials.
Twitch?
Yeah, I love those commercials.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's totally streaming and like being a YouTuber are kind of like two totally different things. I mean, I feel like being a YouTuber, you kind of have a little bit more flexibility because you can just create tons of content, backlog it for weeks if you wanted to, have it scheduled to upload. Whereas streaming, you actually have to be there and be live.
Yeah.
Being a person's hard sometimes.
Indeed. Especially being a streaming person that makes millions of dollars every year. So say it.
Very Saiyan.
All right, moving on to our second to last story of the week. Y'all see that new Sonic the Hedgehog trailer?
I did at work today.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we think? We
Nice.
talked about the original one a few months ago now. What do we think of the new one?
Thumbs up, man.
Yeah? What do you
Much
like about
better.
it?
I
Looks
think
like-
I
looks like
actually like how
Sonic.
it looks better. Yeah. Like,
Okay, so it looks
like
better.
I saw like the stills of like side to side comparison. I'm like, Jesus, like how bad it was gonna
Right.
be if we got the.
I'm kind of
other
upset it's
design.
not that bad still, because it would just been a whole, like all those screenshots, all those memes, fucking gold. Would be rolling in rings.
See, they take all this time to change it, and the movie still makes like 12 million opening weekend.
I still want to go see it.
I think
looks
fans
fucking
will
tight.
just flock out just for the redesign.
Maybe, I hope so. I mean, it does
Just
definitely
be-
look a lot better. I think the trailer's better too.
I think just because people like that they were heard, they're gonna go out and watch the movie.
Maybe.
I don't think they make
That's
a
the-
profit because they had
Yeah.
to go back and do all these redesigns and.
That's the most like viewed comment I've seen though. Is they're like, finally a movie company that listened to its fans. I mean, that's great. That's awesome.
I think it sets a slight bad precedent. Like like
That was the first story that I saw on the Pokemon subreddit, which is going to lead us into our next story. But 16.8 thousand upvotes. Look at what happens when the Sonic community voice their opinions. They got the change they wanted. We need to do the same.
Get all 900 almost plus Pokemon in the game. Kojima, please put him in Sakurai.
No, that's Miyamoto.
Miyamoto, put him in the Pokemon. I am stoked.
You're stoked?
I'm stoked.
3 days.
3
I know.
days.
I thought I was gonna get it, but I don't think I'm gonna get it day one at least.
That's okay.
I
Hey.
need people to. I mean, I was seeing like videos of like graphical like setbacks and like
I personally
pop-ups for
it's not a
like
The game has
big-
always
and-
looked like a, souped up 3DS game.
Yeah, like even though
It's
the
going-
Sun and
gonna-
Moon on 3DS, like having that higher resolution on the Switch, just being able to finally have like my console that's not Pokemon Coliseum or XD Gale of Darkness, like Pokemon game, even if it doesn't include all the original Pokemon, I'm cool with that.
So moving on to our final story for the night. It's going on some leaks that have been happening that seem very credible on Reddit. And Tyler, why don't you take us through this?
Yeah, I mean, there's been tons of people talking about how the new Pokemon coming out this Friday is pretty much kind of like a downgrade from past iterations. I mean, you take a look at Pikachu and Eevee for the Switch, and there was some notable just graphical downgrades and
Pikachu and Eevee look worse in this game?
No, I'm talking about.
Well, you're talking about Let's Go Pikachu.
Pikachu and
Oh.
Eevee.
Wait, so what are they comparing Let's Go to? Like what game? Because there hadn't been any on the Switch since then.
like all the they're comparing it to all the leaks of
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's. I guess I was really hoping that Let's Go would have a way better post game. Like there'd be a lot more stuff to do, kind of like the remakes of Red and Green, Fire Red and Leaf Green. That had that whole Sevi Islands side quest at the end, which was great. But this one, I mean, it does. There's a couple things to do. You can go get all the Pokemon rated to level 100, fight all the other Master Trainers out there, which have the same Pokemon. Just a little tedious, but I mean for a 1-to-1 remake, it was great.
Yeah, I mean they're saying this too is also gonna have like almost no post game in it. I mean there's no Elite Four. The badge system is different. I mean it's gonna. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Those are both at $40, I think. This is what, 60.
It was 60 when it launched.
Yeah, it was 60
Let's
when
Go.
it
It
was
was 60 for
Yeah.
retail,
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
extra if you want to get the stupid Pokeball Plus, which was great. I will add, but definitely shouldn't have paid as much as I did.
Yeah, there's this Reddit user, Taratu, that was just kind of like outlining, and he had like data and facts and screenshots and like all sorts of like comparisons about like why it's kind of a downgrade from past Pokemon games. They're saying it's too easy. There's lazy animations. Like Anthony was saying, there's a lot of Pokemon that just aren't there in this game. They're taking out a lot of moves. I think they were saying like moves like Pursuit and like kind of like big time like moves that were like using competitive battling and stuff like that.
That's interesting. I didn't know
kinda
about the moves at least.
That made like certain Pokemon even like viable.
But if you take those Pokemon out entirely, because maybe some of those moves were to counter those certain Pokemon which aren't even in the game anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it says they removed 144. Does it say how many they added?
That's
No, it didn't.
also true
No.
because it seems like this is straight up like that's good.
It
It,
seems
like I
like
like
it's
these
all the
lists.
cons.
It's all just cons, but I want to see
Yeah.
the pros because they added a bunch of stuff. Like you can change natures now with super easy, but mints. That helps you change your Pokemon's nature instead of going out into the wild or breeding for hours and like minutes just
Oh,
to find the
yeah.
right nature Pokemon. People that are super crazy competitive into it. That really deterred me from going competitive, and they've made it. I really do enjoy it. I can see it being a con as like, oh, it makes it a lot easier if it's I don't have to go out and go do my research online for like kill 12 Oddishes in the tall grass to raise my special attack point like 2 max. Whereas like this one, you can just feed them protein or calcium. Or they had in Sword and Shield, X and Y, they had the little soccer mini game thing you could do for super training. But I like it's just easy, more accessibility. But I also do want to see, obviously I get moves or there's moves removed, and then what they've added as well. I'm not sure if they made some drastic change to it, but if there is a lack of an Elite Four, that is kind of concerning. I mean, post game I've never really expected too much because Pokemon, unless it's like the third middle version of the game, like Platinum or Emerald. Ultra Sun Ultra Moon doesn't have like huge post game content. It's like you beat the game, you play your friends, you play online competitive,
And
and
that's it.
yeah,
And
get your game.
and catch Pokemon you haven't caught yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shiny hunt, egg breeding.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see how it speaks to like some of the hardcore Pokemon fans, longtime Pokemon fans might be not so happy about some of these changes, but younger people, kids getting into it for like the first time, like
Yes.
obviously it's going to be so much easier for them to try
sure.
and do these things.
I feel like that's always their mainstay point.
They're
too,
doing
or
it
their
for
selling
the
point with it.
kids.
Yeah, because they want those. That's what they did. I think a big point of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was for like kids just who are our age when we got back like 10 or so when Pokemon first came out, like getting into now with Let's Go and following it up and all that.
Getting them addicted young.
Getting them hooked.
Man, I was hooked.
Oh,
I was
banging.
so hooked. Yes.
So I
I'm
guess
excited.
We'll see.
Yeah, we don't know till it's out, and I guarantee you, then the time this video's up, or a couple days down the road, for us at least, the reviews will be out, and I'm sure everything it'll be lambasted, it'll be loved. IGN will give it 1 score, GameSpot will give it another.
Let's all predict the Metacritic.
65.
Ooh, 65.
I'm gonna go
Damn,
with
that's
a
pessimistic, man.
I know. I want to set my bar low so I can get high.
72.
70. Okay. I'm gonna
That's-
go 74.
I'm gonna say 69.
I see what you did there.
I guarantee you, whoever gets a hold of Metacritic is just the combined review, right? So it's not like one person.
there's some sort of weighting system towards bigger outlets, but yeah.
We might have somebody hopefully we don't have somebody who's pulling the strings that's like, well, we had to put the Nashville Dex in. But that wet assistant to the professor's hat, I'll give it a 55.
But they were saying they did think like there were things that they did note out in this and saying like there's no Pokemon scaling. So like the Wailord Pokemon that's like super
supposed
duper
to be
like whale
huge.
size, like it's gonna look the same size as a Pikachu.
That is lame.
I mean, that also is constraints, I guess, of the system because it did even like when you had group battles or 2-on-2s on the handheld, it slowed it down super like to a crawl almost. Like certain Pokemon, I guess they're bite size or whatever, which I can see. But
And then
I mean,
they were showing a couple video clips of like in certain areas if you're like fishing or something like that, and you find a Pokemon, it's not going to be like the background where you actually are. It's going to like throw you in a field or something
weird.
for the battle.
that's weird.
So
Rather than like surfing, that's odd. Huh.
Well, we'll hear Anthony's impressions at least next week. I know he's a day one buy.
Oh yeah.
You guys on the fence, it seems.
Oh, I got it pre-ordered and I haven't paid the full price yet. So we'll see Friday how the funds look.
Gotcha.
That's the only thing that's holding me back.
Word up.
Don't worry, I'll take on the burden for all you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the Level With You show. You can catch it every Wednesday right up here on YouTube or on podcast services, usually even earlier than that. What else? Oh, yeah. If you'd like to leave us a question and be featured on next week's episode, you can feel free to do so in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer it for you. I'm going to start saying that at the top of the show because I know that some people don't quite make it through the whole thing. But we'd like to have a question and answer portion of the show. You know that, at least 30 to 90 of you are watching each week. And
Thank you.
We'd like to interact with you a little bit. All right. We will see you next time. That's been the Level With You show.
Good night.
Bye.